This bed right here, I'm gonna top off with probably 6 to 12 inches of soil, which I have coming on Friday. And I think I'm going to plant my ferns and perennials in this bed, some of these plants right here, and get those out of their pots and into the garden. These cosmos and zinnias are ready to be planted out, and that'll be one of the first garden beds I make this weekend. It's the time of year where the tulips are about done blooming. I'm also going to clean this bed out this week. And as crazy as it sounds, I've already ordered my tulip bulbs for next year. So most of these I'm not worried about if they come back or not. So I'm just going to cut them down, all the foliage and everything, which is not something you'd want to do if you were trying to get your tulips to come back every year. The anemones are still producing. There is actually a lot more than I thought there would be at this time of year, so I'll just keep cutting them until they quit coming. This rose has a lot of new growth, is doing really good. And I think I'll probably see some buds on it soon. Oh, I do see one. Here's one. These white anemones here are doing a lot better than the other bed. And I think they just peaked later. So maybe this variety comes on a little bit later. So I'm still gonna have anemones from this bed for quite a while, it looks like. Here's another David Austin rose. And all the lettuce that I have planted at the end of this bed is just going crazy. This is ready to eat. I'm hoping we can get through a lot of this before it goes to seed. One of my new David Austin roses is tucked in here. I did prune back this kale to give it some more space, but I'm thinking I'm going to have to take this plant out right here soon. This is a broccoli plant, and I'm not sure if it's going to produce anything or not. I may just take some of the bigger leaves off and see what happens. The ranunculus are still doing amazing, and I'll cut a lot of these and bring them inside tonight and try making a bouquet. It's something I want to get better at, and so I'll just practice on these beautiful ranunculus. I love the sunset colors of this group. Here's bed number 2 of all the ranunculus. Fading from sunset into all these lovely pink shades right here. This variety right here is called Piketty, and it's kind of speckled. Here's the third bed of ranunculus. And the calendula that I planted in these empty spots is coming along. The daffodil bed is pretty much finished producing. There's a couple things hanging on, but for the most part it's finished. So I'll leave all of the foliage on here until it dies back, because I do want my daffodils to come back next year. There's that Swiss chard plant growing up nice. Here's the second one. The chives aren't looking as good, but they're still there, so we'll give them a chance. There's the second new David Austin rose that I just planted this spring. And a bunch of carrots and kale. Here are the radishes. This strawberry looks good. We should have some berries soon. This, I think, is a leek. I can't remember what exactly this one is. I'll find out eventually. Sweet peas still look good. They're not really doing much. They're just kind of hanging out. So I'm kind of waiting for those to take off. I'd love to get some flowers this year. I took a big risk and planted all of my tomato starts out. I probably should have saved a tray or two back just in case we get a frost, because if we do, these won't make it. They're not looking too bad. I didn't have any raised beds ready, so I planted these straight into the ground. So we'll see how they do. I have them mulched really heavily with leaves, and I do plan on building a bed around them throughout the summer as I have time. So eventually this will be a raised bed, but it'll definitely be a no-dig area. So I won't be digging or tilling or anything like that. All I did was the initial planting, and then from here on out, I'll just be adding all the nutrition to the top, as top dressing, with the leaves and compost. As you may have noticed, there's a ton of tomato plants. I have 6 rows of tomato plants. Almost 90 plants, and normally I have a seed sale in the spring and I sell some of my plant starts, but since I wasn't able to do that this year, I just planted all of them. So I may have tons of tomatoes, which is good. I'll just learn how to preserve them either in the freezer or canning. And we'll eat as many as we can fresh. I'm about out of sunlight, but this is the perfect time of night. It's nice and cool. You can hear the birds still. Everything looks so pretty.